welcome to another Path of Exile video. Let's say Monk 2.5 free build, maybe. The last time I did my build, it's changed quite a bit in the form of statistics and basically gear and passives. The only thing that's not changed much is my level. So I was level 87 when I did the video last. I'm now level 90. This is because I focused on trying to make the Monk better, that rather than like grind. I've been basically been grinding gear rather than grinding levels. So I've been trying to grind gear and some like a bit of currency and stuff like that. So when I do need better gear, I do have the money for it. So I managed to take Chaos Inoculation. We've got 3,233 shield, but pair that with Grim Feast, it goes up to around about 6-7k. No armor, got 47% evasion. I'll explain in my equipment, but I feel like I'm going to try put something else on that I did take off, but then I might put it back on because this evasion is a bit low, and I don't want to get one shot, especially when you're trying to earn like 2 billion XP and you lose 10% of it each time. So it's quite a lot. Full resistances. Fire is the more important one, I feel like, to get higher up, because you can deal with the light and the chill ground, but the burning ground just absolutely annihilates you. So obviously maximum life, energy shield is there. I've got a recharge delay, but that's because I've got a plus to my energy shield. 1188 mana, 85 mana a second, evasion rating is 3341, 47% chance to evade. But again, I can change that. Chill duration I use minus 49%. My modifiers are down here, my charge modifiers are here, and my movement speed modifier. So in my skills, the main thing that's changed, as you can see here, is Eye Strike. Eye Strike in my last video was around about 80k, maybe even less than that. It's now 191,000. This is due to a big change around in my passive tree, and I'll explain when I go into that section there. But we've got Temper Spell, we've got it with Overabundance, which has +1 to the limit, and then support skills deal 35% more physical damage with Heavy Swing. Font of Rage, objects created by support skills create a Font of Rage within a 3-meter radius. Obviously this grants 2 rage regeneration per second, which is good. Ruthless, every 5th use of the support skill gives you 500% more stun build up. So again, you stun them and then basically go to town, hit the bell as hard as you can and hope for the best. Eye Strike. You may see my Eye Strike is corrupted. For anyone that follows me on YouTube, or subscribe to me on YouTube, or follows me on TikTok, I used a Valorb to corrupt this from 4 sockets to 5 sockets. I just need a level 20 skill gem to put it up to level 20. It's full maximum quality, and then it saves me a perfect jeweler's gem, which obviously at the moment they're quite expensive. But to get a level 20, I need to either wait for it to drop or buy one, which again are expensive. It's at level 19, it's happy, it's doing the job, but eventually we will upgrade it. Got Primal Armament for that extra weapon damage, Hef for that extra physical damage, Inspiration for the mana reduce cost, Concentrated Effect for the more area damage, and then Martial Tempo for the attack speed. Normally when I am mapping, I normally swap Inspiration out for Ice Bite, and then when I go to a boss, I'll swap them back around, because Ice Bite gives me a flat 35% as cold when I freeze an enemy. Obviously Ice Strike freezes pretty much straight away, so when you get to like the 3rd strike, I'm hitting for what, 213,000. Add that to the charge staff across there, plus my 455% critical damage bonus. Like I do quite a lot of damage. Herald of Thunder we have Cold Infusion, obviously to proc Herald of Thunder, and then vice versa. Use Cold Infusion to proc Ice to proc Cold. Shock Siphon with a 4% energy shield when support skill deals a killing blow. I'm trying this to see if it works. It seems to be working alright. I haven't got enough evidence to suggest it. I will probably look at putting something else in maybe, but I'm going to create a Mobalytics build with the final build on it, with what I think is a good build. As I said before, I'm new to the game, I'm just kind of doing it by trial and error. I've watched a couple of videos, but I don't just want to run the same build that everyone else is running. I want to run something that's a little bit fun. Yeah, it might not be as good, but if it gets tier 16s done, tier 15s done, and stuff like that, and I can kill the bosses, and it's fun, that's all that matters. Then we move on to Long Shot, obviously, to get that off-screen damage, and then we move on to Ambush, which gives you the critical hit chance against enemies at full life. Hell Device is at 20, it's at 19, but I've got one from support. So I've got Lightning Infusion, again, that's to proc the opposite of it. Then we've got Cold Mastery, which is the support skills. This is because I did have elemental resistances on it, but on my passive tree I ignore elemental resistances, so it's kind of pointless having it. Then we have Magnified Effect, which gives you more area, which is good, and then we have Innovate, which gives you a 35% damage as lightning damage for 3 seconds on killing a shocked enemy with support skills. This like kind of works, but I'm probably going to see if I can swap stuff around and maybe put Shock Siphon down into Charge Staff, and then put something else, and then maybe put Culling Strike. Yeah, I might do that actually, and then put Culling Strike into Herald of Thunder, because then I cull enemies and they also crit against them as well. So we'll try that, see what that does. Combat Frenzy, I've got Profusion, Mana Regen, and Accuracy. This is just to kind of give me as much mana as possible. I'm not 100% sure it fully works, but I'm trying it. I have the spirit to run it, so I'm just seeing what happens. And then, as you may notice, I'm running Flicker Strike. Flicker Strike is great, but it's also not so good as well. It's amazing when it does properly proc, whiz around the map when you're killing everything in sight, but then it's not amazing when you whiz around the map and it puts you in a group of ads in the middle of nowhere that just deal physical damage, and I have 0% armor, and then it just goes and disappears. So on Flicker Strike I have Close Combat, obviously because you're doing the damage from close. Super Critical, which gives you more critical damage bonus, but it gives you less crit chance. But I'm still sat at, what is it, critical damage 567%, so I can kill them quite quick with Flicker Strike. Then Momentum, because you do move more than 2 meters, therefore you get extra damage. And then support skills are 30% not to move a charge, which allows you to Flicker Strike for longer. Grim Feast is just Grim Feast. Grim Feast, just Grim Feast. Obviously, get your energy shield back. Wind Dancer, I have changed Wind Dancer as well. I've gone and put Blind, Maim, but I've gone and put Wind Wave on it. So, Wind Wave, basically, when they're stunned, it triggers a wave back, and it knocks back these enemies. And then Wind Dancer is able to actually trigger Herald of Thunder and Herald of Ice. So if you're stood still and they hit you, you can still trigger the Herald of Thunder and the Herald of Ice because it counts as a melee attack. Then we've got Charge Staff. I'm looking at removing Charge Staff eventually because I'm tempted to maybe get rid of Flicker Strike, put like Tempest Flurry or Storm Wave on or something like that, just so I can clear ads. Maybe use Ice Strike for bosses and then use Storm Wave for like mobs and ads and stuff. But we've got Persistence, obviously the more skill duration. Shock Siphon, which recovers 4% energy shield and support skill. But again, like I said, I'm swapping these around. I might put something else on. Conduction and Overcharge. I might put Innovate on here. I think I have Innovate up here. Where's Innovate? Yeah, it gains 35% damage as lightning. So I might put Innovate on here because obviously it deals the shock damage and stuff. We'll see how it is. See if I get any energy shield back. If I do, then it's great. If I don't, then I'll think of something else. Conduction, like I said before, and then Overcharge. Right, let's move on to the gear. So I got myself a new staff. I got myself one with physical damage, 131%, 16 to 36, 4 to 65 lightning, 14% attack speed, and then it's got 30 to dexterity and 28 to intelligence. So if you looked at my other video, I had crit damage and crit bonus. I did swap out. I did originally have 12% critical damage bonus onto the staff, and then I swapped it for elemental damage with attacks. It did drop my DPS by like 200, but I'm going to see what it actually runs like. I've just changed it now. If it don't run too great, I'll probably go for the critical damage bonus. Obviously that extra 12% when you think about it. If I'm doing Ice Strike here at 191,000, okay, and I'm getting an extra 12% on top of theirs, I'm getting what, 467% critical damage bonus on top of this. I'm hitting very hard. Then we've got the head. I've gone for full energy shield on the head instead of evasion and energy shield. So we've got 54 to maximum energy shield, 97% energy, rarity, intelligence, fire, and then the life regen. The life regen is pointless because it's chaos, but I couldn't find any way out life regen. This intelligence pairs well, and then obviously dexterity pairs with the hands, because the hands 3% attack speed per 25 dexterity, and then 1 to 10 lightning damage per 10 intelligence. Chest, I've got just a normal advanced chest. It's just 98 to maximum energy shield, 131% increased energy shield, 33 to intelligence, and then it's got 14 and 19 on cold and fire. It's free socketed as well, so it could just give me 695 energy shield, which is good, especially because I've got Lead Me Through Grace, which gives me 1 spirit per 6 energy shield, so it's a pretty good statistic. Hands, these are just breach rings with mainly like with cold damage on and stuff like that. So this is one with 16 to 28 cold, 16 to 28 physical, 43% cold, and then some accuracy, some dex, some fire, and some cold resistance. And then the same again over here, 5 to physical, 5 to 9 to physical, fire, cold, elemental resistances, cold resistances, and mana per enemy killed. Boots, because I've currently got full energy shield, I've gone for a bit of evasion. So I've gone for 30% movement speed, 80 to evasion, 47% increased evasion, 30 to dex, 41 to lightning, and then 49% reduced duration on you. I can improve this gear, but it requires either a large amount of exalteds or divines. Obviously you can improve this here, which is my belt, which gives me maximum life. It's pointless again for maximum life, but it gives me maximum mana, strength, and fire resistance and lightning resistance. I'll show you why the strength is important in a minute. But if I got the Ingenuity belt or the Headhunter belt or something like that, you'll see my DPS increase dramatically. I'm saving up, I've got 4 divines, hopefully saving up for an Ingenuity belt, unless someone wants to gift me it in the comments. But I need to save up around about 6-7 divines for a decent one. I don't want to pay 3 divines for just one that's going to give me nothing. I might as well pay 6-7 divines for a better one. Then we move on to the amulet. I've changed my amulet. I've now gone for one that's giving me some mana regen. It's giving me a bit of energy shield, 15% maximum energy shield, more mana, some crit chance, 20 to all attributes, and then 11% to all elemental resistances. I need to increase this, so I've add the attribute stacker onto it, which will give me more damage again, which I'll do probably after this video. What we'll do actually is we'll cut, and then we'll do it then, and we'll see the difference between the DPS. 191,161. I've increased it, so now it's 24 to attributes, and it's giving me an extra 2k damage on my eye strike. It's not a lot. Maybe I probably should have gone for something to do with like the critical hit chance. Trial and error. They cost nothing to get, so I'll mess around with it. I did get this, and it's not bad. It's 5-socketed, 256% increased. I got it for 1 div. 10% increased global, and then 5% maximum mana. It does lower my attack. It's only like 5k, but it lowers my energy shield by quite a lot, but it gives me armor. So then that means that when enemies attack me that do physical damage, I'm going to have armor which is going to be protected against it. Plus it increases my evasion by a significant amount, so it puts me from like 47 to 71%, so therefore I'm more likely to evade hits. Does lower like a bit of my stats and stuff, but I feel like this could be the better option for survivability, and then maybe like lower my attack down a little bit more just to get a little bit more energy shield. But effectively I have energy shield, armor and evasion, whereas on here I've just got pretty much energy shield and a slight bit of evasion. So if anything it does do physical damage, then it's going to tear me apart. Now we move on to the passive tree. So this is still the same. I might have changed these, and I've gone around here now to obviously ignore the elemental resistances. Up here, on my last video, I started to go around here, up here, around here, and stuff like that. I've changed it a lot. So what I've gone to focus on a little bit more is jewels. Jewels, amazing. It's kind of crazy how much damage they can actually give you, especially if you drop lucky on one. I bought a blue and then regold it, put an extra exalted into it, and got some pretty good statistics. So we've got across here, we've got your damage, your crit damage and stuff like that. Basic flat damage up here. Once I get some more skill points, I'm probably going to spec into these here, give me a bit more extra. Then we've got evasion and energy shield down here. I did have all this with evasion and energy shield, and then again there, look, 1+1 to maximum energy shield per 12 evasion on the body armor. So which would give me, if I spec into these 3 points here by losing a bit of attack, it give me a lot of energy shield when I put my Invictus on. Then I've gone up here, got CI, gone right to the top, got the energy shield, intelligence. Put this jewel on, which gives me 7% critical hit chance with attacks, 12% crit damage with quarterstaffs, 3% attack speed with quarterstaff, and then I penetrate 8% lightning resistance. Then I've got another jewel over here, which is the 15% melee damage, and then the rest of them are kind of pointless. I kind of wanted to just 1 rage on hit. It saves me putting rage into my build. Once I do have rage on, well, once I fully stacked up, I've seen my eye strike at 362,000, so it hits pretty hard. Then over here we've got 10% damage, 3% attack speed, quarterstaffs. Herald skills deal 25% increased damage, and then debuffs expire faster. Down here, I was able to get a Time Lost Emerald, which gives me 2% increased damage with quarterstaffs, and then 3%. The max skills have 3% skill effect, so it's not that point. But then 2% increased attack speed, which then pairs with all this that's here. So these all give me attack damage and crit chance and stuff. So this increases it by quite a lot. Branch down here and down to here, and then this is the one that I got for blue as well. So I got 9% critical hit chance, 13% attack damage, 11% damage with quarterstaffs, and then 3% attack speed with quarterstaffs. And then I've made my way down here. I got 13% attack damage with quarterstaffs again, 2% attack speed, 5% accuracy rating, and then 11% freeze build up. Obviously, the quicker I can freeze, the better. And I've still gone down here, and I've got 16% increased critical chance for attacks, 11% crit chance to shock, 8% attack damage, and then 12% increased damage if you have an active charm. Trying to find a decent one with quarterstaffs, again, just to give me straight flat quarterstaff damage, but the only one I can find is like gives me poison and gives me crossbows and stuff. I want to try and get one a little bit better. Eventually, once I leveled up to around about 95-ish, I'm going to try and change my builds and go down here. I've got Jack of all trades on my amulet, which gives me 2% increased damage per 5 on my lowest attribute. And obviously my strength's my lowest attribute at 150, so it's quite a decent chunk. I wouldn't mind coming down here and obviously getting 10% increased attributes and stuff, and then running maybe Pillar of the Caged Gods. But I'd have to sacrifice a lot of stuff around here. I possibly could go up to this point and then look at like damage penetrates, lightning resistances, and then you've got levels of skills, freeze build-ups, and then up here as well, 2% lightning damage per 10 intelligence. So if you pair that with the Hand of Wisdom and action, like you're gonna get quite a lot of damage, and you could probably go straight into an actual like lightning build rather than a frost and lightning build. So that's it. That's my build. It'll probably change like probably 2 or 3 days after this video is out. If you've got any tips, tricks, anything that you could recommend, please leave them in the comments. And if you fancy playing a bit of Path of Exile, running some maps or anything like that, leave your name in the description and I'll add you and we can run some maps. And that's about it. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. Stay safe. Peace.